You are watching Germantown Municipal Television, your source for everything Germantown.
Hello and welcome to MidSouth Matters on Germantown Municipal Television. I'm your host, Ruth Dunning. Today's show will focus on the Tennessee Shakespeare Company and their upcoming season and projects. My guest today is Stephanie Shine. Stephanie is the General Manager, the Education Director, and the Gala Coordinator for the Tennessee Shakespeare Company. She's the creator of the Romeo and Juliet project, and her TSC directorial credits include Romeo and Juliet, It's a Wonderful Life, Southern Yuletide, A Midsummer Night's Dream, and Henry V. Stephanie is a graduate of both the Pacific Conservatory of the Performing Arts and the University of Washington's Professional Actor Training Program. Finally, she's the wife of Dan McClary, the founder and artistic director of the Tennessee Shakespeare Company. Welcome, Stephanie. It's good to have you back.
Thanks for having me back, Ruth.
Okay. Now, first I have to tell a story about when we didn't know we met many years ago in Ashland, Oregon. Stephanie is one of the truly classically trained Shakespearean actors. And she was acting in The Winter's Tale.
I was.
In Ashland, Oregon, one of the premier Shakespeare companies in the country. And she was also on the cover of their big program for the whole summer. Anyway, I was there. I didn't know I was viewing our star here, but it was a wonderful experience.
Oh, thank you.
Anyway, we're here to talk about this year, the 10th anniversary of Tennessee Shakespeare Company, an amazing landmark. Talk to us a little bit about it.
We are celebrating. We're celebrating 10 years of being a professional classical theater company here in the Mid-South, and the only thing that we have like it within a 200-mile radius of Memphis. We are, as part of that celebration, looking to have 10 productions of some sort, and offerings to the public. And I'm so excited because this month we are debuting a brand new series called Shout Out Shakespeare.
Okay, how are we shouting?
We are shouting out in this manner. We are doing 3 shows that are going to be playing throughout areas in Shelby County for free.
Oh, how wonderful.
For the community. And these are shows that normally are serving our education population, but they have a tendency to be so good that really the public, the general public, has been asking us for years, when can we see these plays? Well, now there's an opportunity. And the venues are across in a mix. They're indoors, they're outdoors, they're all over the place.
And they're all free?
And they're
all 10 of these are free? Okay.
And they're also at all different locations.
Give us some examples.
Well, here's an example. We open at the Collierville Town Square with Romeo and Juliet. We'll play at Overton Park. On the same day in 2 different venues, we'll be in the playground. And then we'll also be at the zoo with Shakes, Rattle, and Roll, which is our 2-person touring show, which uses scenes from Shakespeare along with the Memphis music that we think might have been inspired by certain scenes of Shakespeare. We're also doing Julius Caesar for the first time as one of our ed program shows. And these shows are edited, they're concise, they're urgent, they're fascinating, and they're short. So a family is going to have a wonderful time with 90 minutes of Romeo and Juliet, or 75 minutes of Julius Caesar, or 45 minutes of Shakes, Rattle, and Roll, which means there's Shakespeare for everyone.
Good.
And they're all performed without intermission, and everything is free. We'll even be downtown. We'll be at Court Square. We'll be at Madison Park. We'll be at the University of Memphis outside. So we are everywhere that our community can come and see these shows.
What's the first date? When's the first time?
The first date is the 7th of October at 4 p.m. Collierville Town Square. The last date is November 10th at Overton Square. at the music festival. So we'll be there for a double header. You can come and spend the late afternoon, early evening with us and see 2 plays.
Oh, very good.
All at the same time.
Wonderful.
And all those dates are on our website, tnshakespeare.org, and should be on posters all around town.
Oh, good. And we will try to have all these dates and all rolling with us
That'd be terrific.
At the end of the program. Now, so that's October through November. What's coming at Christmas time?
Christmas time. We are going to be returning to the Dixon Gallery and Gardens, who've been longtime partners with us.
Right.
And there we will be doing, for the first time, not Shakespeare, but Beckett.
Oh.
We are doing Waiting for Godot, which is a comedy. And that is our Christmas show.
For those who did not read this play in either high school or college, tell us a little bit about it.
Well, Waiting for Godot is about a series of men, of clowns, who are waiting for Godot. And Godot is an Irish play. Beckett, even though he wrote so much in France and died in France and wrote in French, he was an Irishman. And Godot means in Irish forever, which is really what they're doing. They're waiting forever. And this is a very famous play, and is one that should be seen by everybody at some point in their lives, and it's often mounted with fabulous clowns in it. I mean, and I'm talking about wonderful comedians, and we're thrilled to be bringing back some of our very favorite comedians to share our 10th anniversary celebration.
Oh, good. Any names we can sneak in here and tell?
No.
Oh, okay.
I have to wait just a little bit.
Okay, we'll wait. Okay. Anything else on the horizon that we know about?
Yes, we will be returning to the Hunt and Polo Club for one of our fabulous Sunday brunches with Shakespeare, where we will be doing Two Gentlemen of Verona. That will happen in November.
Ah, very good.
So we're very excited about that. So right there, that's five shows that are available to the public, all within just a couple of months.
Now, let's back up a little bit and talk about some really fabulous things that you've been doing. Tell us first about what happened last spring.
Well, last spring we started a program where we were in residence at Jail East. This is a little-known facility where young men, young boys really from 14 to 17 years old are incarcerated while they are awaiting trial for serious crimes as adults. So that's what they're awaiting trial for. During this time, they might be in this facility for anywhere from 6 months to a year to 2 years while they're waiting for their cases because they're complicated to go forward. We started a residency there so we can continue to work with young people even when they can't come to us. We can work with them to expand their world, give them some hope about humanity, which is what Shakespeare offers so much of. And it was so successful that we also spent 3 weeks in the summer doing intensives with these young men, and that included Shakespeare and comedy, writing. We did a beautiful poetry workshop with them that our education manager, Carmen Marie Mandley, headed. And what was quite exciting about that is we were able to take the boys' poetry and publish it for them. So they got to see their works on the printed page and in a book that is all theirs now. And we'll have some of the examples of that poetry on our website. And we were also able to teach them improvisation. And all this is an ability to help children whose worlds have become very, very small. Remember that there is more out there, and to encourage them as they go forward, as they are paying their debt to society.
Is that an ongoing project?
It is. We're very committed to helping those underserved communities. And that's why we also work at the Hope Academy, which is a Shelby County school that's above the juvenile court downtown. And we've been in residence there for 2-3 years now, bringing the Romeo and Juliet project to them, and then we do summer work with the children as well. Because even though it's summer or spring break or fall break, those kids are still in session.
Yes. Okay, when we come back, let's talk a little more about Romeo and Juliet project.
I would love to.
Okay, and we have to take a short break. We have more with Stephanie of the Tennessee Shakespeare Company when we return. Please stay with us.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
You are watching Germantown Municipal Television, your source for everything Germantown.
Welcome back to MidSouth Matters. I'm your host, Ruth Dunning. Joining me is Stephanie Shine of the Tennessee Shakespeare Company. Welcome back, Stephanie.
Thank you.
And now we're going to talk about the Romeo and Juliet project. Tell us when it started and how it's evolved.
Oh my goodness, the Romeo and Juliet project we owe to the city of Germantown. It was originally piloted at Germantown High School and then evolved into this project that is now funded by the NEA. We're so thankful for the NEA for funding this project for several years now. And what it allows us to do is to take the Romeo and Juliet project, which is a 3-part residency that highlights pivotal moments of decision-making for the characters in Romeo and Juliet and gives students the opportunity to rehearse alternatives to the choices that the characters in the play make that have a grim outcome.
Give me an example.
Benvolio, who is a friend of Romeo and Mercutio's, begs his friend Mercutio to leave a square where he knows the Capulets are out looking for him. Mercutio refuses to do it, and they, of course, are met with Capulets, and then we have a fight. So we get to rehearse Mercutio leaving. Oh, look, we can leave. Or if Tybalt and Mercutio, who are from 2 opposing sides, if they are having a heated moment, we can do all the things that Benvolio suggests in the text, which are to breathe, talk coolly about something, go into a private place, because we recognize that whenever an altercation happens in public, like at school, that ups the ante for everybody. There's more investment in having something go forward when really people just need to take a breath and walk away. Or even what happens if you choose not to carry a weapon, which is something that the children in the play make an interesting decision about. They all feel they must be armed, and that has very perilous outcomes for them.
When you say children, tell us the ages that you're talking about.
The characters in Romeo and Juliet, because they're young lovers, we often think they're mature. They are not. Juliet is 13 years old.
Barely.
Barely. She'll be 14 soon, in 2 weeks' time when the play happens. So we've got 14, 15, 16-year-olds. They're all kids who are middle school and high school age, who are dealing with life and death choices. And the work in the Romeo and Juliet project not only makes the play immediately accessible to students who are studying it as part of their curriculum, but it also gives them an opportunity to rehearse life-saving choices. If they are ever in the same face of that armed conflict, what can they do? And sometimes you just have to try it out in your body so that it will come to your aid when you are in trouble. And that's one thing that we love about it. It also, the Romeo and Juliet, gets kids talking about violence and even suicide in a forum that is safe and effective. And it's followed by a performance of the play. So kids who are being taught Shakespeare in school are also having an opportunity to experience it as it was intended, which is as a performance. So they're hearing it, seeing it, living it with the characters.
It's amazing.
Thank you. And we are now in our 6th year with the Romeo and Juliet project. It's really been quite successful, and we look to serve, we'll probably serve between 6,000 and 7,000 individual students this year. And we're very thrilled to announce that we've got a new partnership with the Germantown Municipal School District, where every student in Germantown will, who are in the 5th, 7th, and 9th grades, will have a wonderful experience with Shakespeare. The 5th and 7th graders will be treated to an interactive introductory workshop, we call them play shops, that introduces them to the work of Shakespeare long before they would meet it in their curriculum. So when they do meet it in their curriculum, they will have a relationship already established. And they also get a performance of our Shakes, Rattle, and Roll show, which we discussed earlier. So that goes to every student in 5th and 7th grade. And then the 9th graders will be participating here at Houston High School for the first time in the Romeo and Juliet project, which we're very excited to add them to this.
Very good. I'd like to come observe.
Oh, you are so welcome in the classroom.
Good, good. Now, let's talk about your veterans event, program,
We
shop,
have
workshop.
a residency in a partnership that we're working with the veterans, and we're working in their chemical dependency ward. And this is part of an expansion of work that it was started in Milwaukee by the Feast of Crispin company, and we are working with their curriculum to aid veterans with the work of Shakespeare. Feast of Crispin refers to a line from Henry V. And it's to help them come to peace with some of their demons that have to do with being a veteran, and give them some hope as they move forward, and using Shakespeare's text to embolden and enliven them. So it's a whole new program for us. We're very excited about it.
Yeah. You have mentioned these young people who are involved. Tell me more about them and how you collect these young interns. And
we have a young professional company. This year they are called the Ed Company, and they will be in residence with us for 13 weeks. They come, we're happy to say that 7 of those 9 actors come right here from Memphis, and we've only been able to do that because we have been cultivating talent and skill for the past 10 years. So the majority of this company is Memphis-based. And then we're bringing in 2 young actors, one from Montana who's returning to us for his 2nd year, Marquis Archuleta, and then Cahill Lasaldo is coming from Maine, and they are joining us. And the company is comprised of young actors at a point in their career where they are interested in classical work and training, and also in service to the community, because a good part of their time with us will be in the classroom teaching the Romeo and Juliet project, which is a very passionate endeavor. And it's something that young people need to feel a real passion to give back to people who are younger than themselves, but and helping them achieve adulthood, which is what the Romeo and Juliet project, we think, does.
yes,
They're a lovely
absolutely.
group of young people.
Very good. We also need, before we have to take another break, we need to talk about this astonishing event dealing with an author I never dreamed would come about here.
We have a southern literary salon. We'll do 1 or 2 a season. This year we're going to do 1 in January, and we are going to highlight Mr. John Grisham.
Just blows my mind, and we'll talk about it when we come back. Okay, we have to take another break. When we come back, we're going to talk more with Stephanie about John Grisham.
Hey, Hard, what's this?
That's my resignation letter.
You're resigning.
Why? Because you're constantly ignoring me. You're half as active as you used to be, and you get stuff like this. You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit.
I forgot. I'll do better. Please, don't quit on me.
Okay, but remember, it's not what you say, it's what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Checking your fantasy league?
Nah, just my 401k statement.
Nice. Where'd you find the money for that?
I just been saving a little every month.
I can't seem to save anything.
Well, what about all this? What about the money you're spending?
What money? It's gone before I can get my hands on it.
I got a pizza for a Todd.
Hey, can somebody spot me?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
It's 547.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
You are watching Germantown Municipal Television. your source for everything Germantown.
Thanks for joining us on MidSouth Matters. Joining me once again is Stephanie Shine from the Tennessee Shakespeare Company with this astonishing news. John Grisham is joining Shakespeare.
Yes, he won't be there in person, I doubt, although I'd love to invite him. But our thought about John Grisham was that here we've got a Southern writer who is arguably one of the best-selling Southern writers in history, and certainly of the past generation. And his books tackle, even though they are bestsellers and popular fiction, they tackle serious social endeavors.
Such
it's the tobacco industry, in the insurance industry. He's a whistleblower,
right? John
Grisham is, and he's trying so hard to do well with his novels. So we're going to look at the things that are Memphis, particularly Memphis-based. The Firm, which was filmed here several years ago with Susan Sarandon. But we're going to look at those stories that have even more of a Memphis touch and give you an opportunity to hear the words spoken, because even in a movie version of a Grisham book, you are not hearing some of the marvelous text he writes. He's a wonderful author, and we are going to give him his place in Southern literary lore, is our thought. And if it will make you feel better, Ruth, we do have an ed program that I think you'll love. It's a new show, a Southern literary show, not to counter, but to let us explore the full scope of the Southern writers that we are so enriched with. And we have a new show called Southern Sirens.
Okay, Southern Sirens.
Oh, you like this? No.
Yes, I do.
Southern Sirens will highlight in 45 minutes some of the most pivotal work of Eudora Welty and Flannery O'Connor. So this will be spoken word text for audiences that are discovering them in their curriculums. Another way to get to know Eudora Welty and know Flannery O'Connor.
There's a little Irish theme running through some of these. Have you noticed?
That wasn't my doing.
Our Irish girl here.
That's true, that's true. But Waiting for Godot is something that Dan McClary has long been interested in exploring. And it's important for us to look at other classical writers that are inspired by or have another voice to Shakespeare. And that is certainly this with Samuel Beckett.
Absolutely. So, what else is going on now? What do we have?
We have our
upcoming?
gala to look forward to in April, which will be a very exciting time for this.
That's a new date.
Yes, we're pushing right now to April the 7th, and it'll be right now held at the Hilton. That could always change, but we look to be at the air. It changes in the air, but we look to be at the Hilton, which is a new venue for us. We're very excited. We've outgrown our previous venue, and now we're moving to the Hilton. So we're looking forward to a new experience there, all in celebration of our 10th anniversary. So that's yet another exciting performance that we'll have to offer folks. And we look to expand that endeavor so it's more fun, even more fun and more exciting.
Very good, very good. I want to go back and talk more about these literary salons. Tell us when they started and how that's evolved.
You're going to think that we have a big Irish theme running here even more. About 4 years ago, a cousin of mine who's a well-known actor in Ireland happened to be in America, and we thought we would utilize that work, I mean, his accessibility to being here. And we asked him to come to Memphis, and we threw an Irish literary salon.
I was there.
And it was a lovely time at the Brass Door, our friends at the Brass Door, which is a really fun pub down in right downtown on Madison. And then our dear friend from the Grizzlies, Pete Pranica, had always wanted to perform Mark Twain. And he had worked his whole life, really, memorizing and rehearsing parts of Mark Twain's literature. So suddenly we had a series of salons. And this happened in 2014. They were so successful, and they're held at somebody's home, with the exception of the one we did at the Brass Store. So we moved them into people's homes, so they really were evocative of an era where people would gather together in the twilight to enjoy a cocktail and an hors d'oeuvre and read literature to one another or hear literature performed. And they have evolved from that. So since then, we have enjoyed sharing the works of Harper Lee, Ernest Hemingway from his Key West writings, William Faulkner, the early years, Kate Chopin. So there have been many that we have highlighted during this time. And it's a way for us to touch that part of our mission statement, which is indeed to give a voice to Southern literary writers.
I don't think people realize that. Back up and say that again. Part of our mission statement is...
But in addition to serving and sharing the works of William Shakespeare, it's also to highlight, share, and serve the works of Southern literary writers. So that is why we do the salons. And at a point when our season can expand further, we'll look to do more work and highlight our Southern writers. Our Southern writers are great poets, and we're so lucky to have them. So we want to be a home for them as well.
Anything else we need to talk about here while we still have a minute or so?
Yes, my hope is that people will come out and share and celebrate 10 years with us at this shout out series. It would be so wonderful if we were at capacity at every venue, and you bring your blankets and your picnics and your little children, and let's all enjoy Shakespeare and discover what it's like to have Shakespeare in October, which means no mosquitoes, which means...
Are you sure?
That's my hope. And, you know, cool weather, no rain on the nights that we're performing.
Absolutely, absolutely. You have absolute control over the weather.
Yes, and we'll just be in community together and celebrate.
And thank you, Stephanie. That's all the time we have for this show. I'd like to thank my guest, Stephanie Shine, for being on the show, and you at home for watching. If you'd like any more information about the Tennessee Shakespeare Company, visit their website at tnshakespeare.org. To learn more about this or any other show on Germantown Municipal Television, visit our website at www.gmtvonline.org. I hope you join us for the next edition of MidSouth Matters.